Cthulhu. So when we left off, there was this horrible monster that came out of a painting, and I had flashbacks to playing Alien Isolation. So, let's continue. Alright, what was I doing here? Spent a few days away from the game, and it's like, I don't remember what I was doing. Oh, that's right. Kat sent us over to this... yeah, to this place. To the bookstore. Ah. The Nameless Bookstore. I left the Sanders house, still shaken by my encounter with the Shambler. Thanks to Kat's indications, I ended up at the Nameless Bookstore, a haunt for devotees of esotericism. The place seems to have been burglarized. Who could have done such a thing?
Where's the bookseller?
That's where I thought Kat was trying to frame me for something.
Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
This practical work, written by Sigmund Freud for Psychologist, describes the techniques of analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. It treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires. I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice inside his head, because it holds the truth. Cthulhu for time. Interesting goblet. In the 19th century, must be oriented this way. Where's the White King, though? Well, that's an incomplete setup. Linguistics. Giant ape. Diagrams. Astronomy. I guess it's not helping me actually see anything. poetry. 20,000 leagues under the sea. Let's say history. More Darkwater history. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wickwood settled on the island during the 17th century. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery. The rare documents and handwritten notes they left spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. Interesting. There's no background.
What happened here?
Okay, let's reconstruct this.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from?
Presumably
Blood.
here.
Seems like amateur work.
There are some drops of blood here, though. So what, they wrapped up their hand?
Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably.
So you're on your way out there. So you came into the bookstore. You were looking for something.
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
So he knocked something glass over. This is him on his way out. So what did he get into back here? Or not? What am I looking for? I can't see that back there. That's odd. It usually has a glimmer. Can I go in here? Won't even let me go. Inspect bookstore. Sure. Okay. He's clumsy. Something down here. Something. Oh, back here, duh.
What killed all these animals?
These beetles?
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work?
Elder sign.
What the? Charles Hawkins? What's happening to Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
The Book of Forbidden Knowledge.
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case. Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
A page seems to be hidden here. It is possible to read. If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she is still of this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. So he likes to have them in a particular order. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination to the safe, I would ask that they deliver its content into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The content of this safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that is far too dangerous for it to fall into the wrong hands. I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and that you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you, nor to suffer from your actions.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Yeah, oh, that's an old one. This key that bears the Elder Sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion. Hang it at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins' trips off to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. The least that can be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart, or the detachment proper to doctors, to consult its pages. Non-medical. Like you can hear the book whispering to us. Okay, so I'm gonna find hidden.
A strange amulet. I have a feeling I'd better not touch it.
A strange amulet. The pendant is in the shape of a large dog. I don't know what it represents. I might find out more by searching the bookstore. There's no numbers on it. The Hound. found the secret thing here. Oh, goodness.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
The collection of long-term astrological predictions written in verse. Written by Nostradamus, translated by E. Leone, and the Theophilus Widebridge. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Opera in 8 acts by Benvenuto Cietti. Braghihera, an infamous lyrical work published in Italy in 1768. It is said that the opera was performed only once, resulting in an audience riot that left several dead and missing. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of trees and works, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
A book of spells, supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon. It contains various rituals of invocation and rituals of curse. Re-edition by Claudia de Waits, based on L.W. de Lawrence's original. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
A collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby, also known as the Nightmare Lyrics. This collection of poems was sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
A book of esoteric philosophy and a key text in Madame Blavatsky's Theosophistical Movement, written by her.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Written by Hermes Trismegistus, translated and edited by Nathaniel M. Capelius. This collection of texts on different beliefs was written by a legendary philosopher. It includes a translation of the Emerald Tablet, a popular text among 16th century alchemists.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
An ancient Frisian manuscript translated by William R. Sandbach. The text claims that in the distant past, Europe and other continents were controlled by the mothers of this people, and moreover, that our alphabet is derived from the Frisian language.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
A collection of essays on American folklore and urban legends, written by Albert Wilmarth, professor at Miskatonic University. And that's a whole bunch of books right there.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Well, let's keep on reading.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
This collection catalogs and classifies creatures that I had never heard of. Divinities from the stars, creatures capable of traveling from one dimension to another. It represents itself as the reference work on the bestiary of the myth, without giving details on the mythology to which it refers. Its pages are covered with phantasmagorical illustrations.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers placed truth on the same footing as a religion.
These Tibetan writings are at the origin of the esoteric movement founded by Helena Blavatsky at the end of the 19th century. The creator of Theosophy would have drawn extensively on the texts of this work, but no one has ever been able to consult them. I thought they didn't exist. This book, discovered in the nameless bookstore on Darkwater, could be as much a fake as irrefutable proof of Blavatsky's sincerity. Even a few years back, it was possible for a single practitioner to know all the medical knowledge of his time. This book, which concludes the series, shows that this is now virtually impossible. About 10 renowned doctors took part in putting together this collection. Oh, maybe not. Let's see anything new popping out. Oh, we need to open this up.
A kind of chalice.
This goblet seems to be very ancient. It seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. Do the rubies and sapphires make up a specific motif? Drake Cylinder 1.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Okay, so the number of chess pieces. What's that? Alright, so first one.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry.
Okay,
And
so
I do
red
confess
drops.
it. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Okay, so how many white pieces we got?
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Volume 9.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay, so I need to read Volume 9.
The Queen has little protection.
It's got 3 white pieces left. Okay,
The Chalice of Knowledge.
So we can use that crack here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 red drops, 3 white pieces, and we're going to look at volume 9. Oh, which one was one?
Drake talked about a particular volume.
Collection of poems by Edward Pickman. Thought and other horrors. Is it just 9? Also known as the Nightmare Lyrics. Published in 1908. There's the poetry section here. That's history. There's poetry. Reading reviews. Okay. So the 1908's important.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Or he was only 18? Is 18 a number? So 5 red drops, 3 white pieces, and it's volume 9. There we go. Riverside Institute. In the nameless bookstore, Pierce traced the trail of an attempted burglary. He discovered that Charles Hawkins was behind the attempt. Pierce opened the bookseller's safe to find what the latter and Sarah Hawkins had hidden there. A book covered in human skin lied inside. Irresistibly attracted the detective. When he opened it, his mind was projected into another body. The Necronomicon. So my mind's being projected into another body, but whose? There's that one guy that we met in the insane asylum, but he's dead. I don't know, who might we see that?
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
Let's examine the patient.
Very well. I'll examine him. Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Doesn't seem like an edema. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the presence of a foreign body. His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated. His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin, tender at the touch, slightly sticky.
Transforming into a squid monster.
30-year-old subject, severe hypothermia, erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums, necrosed palpebral tissue. Lord, this smell.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Yeah, something in his belly.
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain it's not an edema?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger won't leave a trace. And look at these bumps.
It's not like he could be pregnant.
Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there. We should operate on him at once.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth.
He's severely dehydrated.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommended dose to no avail. And you won't believe me, but when we bathed him earlier...
He seemed to feel better?
Yes, like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't explain his condition.
The state of his limbs is worse.
In spite of the muscle contractions, his arms seem limp.
Yes. They can't have decalcified, not at this rate.
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of a newborn baby. What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch. It does seem like the skull of a baby.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be happening?
I'm sure you'll find an explanation. You have to.
His body is mutating.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those usually associated with the human species.
What do you mean? Don't tell me you believe in extraterrestrials.
No. This poor man is from our world, all right. But his body is undergoing unnatural mutations. And this transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients. Provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There, there. What have you seen to put you in such a state?
These symptoms are worrisome. It's more logical. Well, this is more hysterical. Let's say he's turning into
These
a monster.
are alarming symptoms. If we don't act, he'll die.
Do you believe that? I'm not as convinced, you see. I even think this man has a strong chance of completely healing from his ailments.
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore. He's dying.
Really? What do you mean by isn't himself?
He's changing. His physical characteristics, they are more animal than human now.
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Could you be more precise? Cephalopod, perhaps?
This amuses you.
Your reaction does. I know your thirst for knowledge, Doctor. It's your innocent worries for this man that have you overreacting.
For this man And the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet. It will be, in time.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to forget who you're dealing with.
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder and one of our profession's most influential voices. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest, I will only ruin my reputation and career.
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything? Is there no evidence of his crimes?
Hidden files aren't necessarily proof. It would be patient or doctor-patient confidentiality. So nobody mentioned crimes for now.
I disapprove of Fuller's methods, but his treatments have saved more lives than I can count.
And Mr. Blake? You said yourself he was dying.
I don't know what to think for now. What I'm sure of is that Fuller is hiding something from us. And I need to know what that is before I take a chance exposing him.
And where would you find those? In his office? What if you get caught?
I'd rather not think about that. I'm counting on your discretion.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep mum.
An unknown medicine. Judging by the other ones, it causes heavy side effects.
Or sleeping pills, looks like. There must be that green goo stuff that we found before. What do we have over here?
Chronic insomnia. Like half the island.
Chronic insomnia. Oh, that's why everybody needs sleeping pills around here.
Hay fever. What's he doing here?
Doctor, please. My chest. Oh.
His perfusion of a semi-physiological solution doesn't seem to work. He's undergoing a ventricular fibrillation. Nurse? Deborah, come and help me, please. His potassium level is too high. Replace it with 2% glucose solution with insulin, calcium, and sodium bicarbonate.
I'll tend to it right away.
Thank you. He's in your hands.
Get into Fuller's office.
He broke his back in an accident down by the docks.
Ah, the whaling station. What's wrong with me?
What are you talking about?
Doctor, that you?
Yes, it's Dr. Colden. Tell me what happened.
It's the old whaling station. See?
The bootleg?
The one that hides the smuggling business.
Oh no, not them. They don't go on that side of the island. Everyone in his place. The captain on one side, Cat on the other, and me. Well, I've been to the whaling station, I have.
What did you see there?
Nothing. Nothing at all. The floor was all rotten and I fell straight through.
And that's how you broke your back?
Perhaps. No idea. Passed out. I'll just sleep a bit more.
Okay.
Why did nobody tell me about her admission?
Larry and Sanders' medical file. The file describes Excuse me. The file describes the state in which Irene Sanders entered the Riverside Institute, as well as the treatments administered to her. Fuller added a handwritten note. He recommends to take her down to the psychiatric wing in order to provide her with the quiet and rest that she needs.
Mrs. Sanders? She recently came back from the surgical block. She's stable. Given her file, a nephrectomy would have been inevitable. But Fuller was able to save her kidney. What is the boiler room key doing here? The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it. The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it. Intoxication from breathing organic vapors. Another insomniac. I should find the cause for such a widespread trouble.
Dr. Colden, here you are at last. This patient was again brought up to the psychiatric wing. We've been following the treatment you prescribed, but the dysgeusia persists and he's lost a great deal of weight. We haven't been able to move him. The stress makes him hyperallergic.
Sir, I am going to examine you. Do you understand? Inject him with a dose of pentobarbital, intramuscular, so that I can conduct the clinical examination. He bit his lips so much, they're still bleeding. White froth, evidently because of such drooling. His binds left bloody wounds.
So, Doctor, what should we do with this patient?
This patient has been mistreated.
Those basement brutes tied him up too tight, and now he's hurt.
I keep trying to heal his wounds, but he reopens them.
Do you have a diploma as a nurse?
Excuse me?
So take care of this man.
Okay, then. Sedate him or something, I don't know. I've done my rounds here.
Gentlemen, may I help you?
We're waiting on news regarding our mother, Maureen Harding. She came in with a kidney problem, but we haven't heard anything since.
I saw her. She's fine.
I've tended to her, and I have good news. Her blood analysis is reassuring. Her kidneys are as new.
Are you talking about the same person? This is miraculous.
She's still recovering, but you may speak to her upon her awakening.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. We'll wait for her to wake up. We've been here since this morning, so it won't make a difference.
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan.
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no. You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be trodden on.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
And just wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show. Dr. Colden?
So many places to go.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it by myself. And the water was once again shut off this morning. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Well, I'll go through her then.
Do you really need Mrs. Donovan to open a valve? Why not ask the janitor?
I can't make these decisions without her approval. Imagine if there were a leak. Anyhow, the boiler room is locked half the time. So every time the water gets shut off, I have to go and endure her reproach until she's settled the problem.
I see. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Some water issues, huh? Stick the crazies in here and then lock them in.
Everybody says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays.
Like a dictionary, this work references in alphabetical order all the medical sciences known and practiced in the modern world. For each of the entries, the major works and the names of the reference authorities are listed.
I have little time for you, Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless.
Okay, so I need to get in there and I need to distract you with something or find a different way. Okay.
The operating room is never accessible after an operation. This man, Edward Pierce, his file is incomplete. What did Fuller do to him?
The file is strangely incomplete and the detail on treatment is not given. It does not respect standard practice. Uh-huh. So, but I only just showed up on the island a little bit ago. So I'm being warped into this lady's mind now?
Thank you for your help, Doctor.
Thank you. I'll be going. Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him. In theory, this is where we hang the key to the boiler room.
And yet it's not there. It's over in that other place.
Dr. Colden.
Hey, it's you.
Ethan,
Marie,
what are you doing here?
I'm waiting for my medication, of course. Why?
Psychology master. Well, we'll go with that one.
You're not here for treatment, right?
Am I so obvious?
Only to me. I know you worry about me.
I trust you. I'm happy to see you.
Me too, Ethan. Is that all?
Well, there might be something else. I'm not sure.
Tell me.
I have nightmares. They keep me awake every night. It seems stupid, I know, but they're terrible.
Actually, you're not the only one.
No. No one has ever seen the things I see. It's like I'm turning mad.
It seems like an affliction. There's more than just you involved.
So many people have this affliction. It's like an epidemic.
Do you think it might be related to Fuller's work?
I don't know yet, but I will figure all this out. Everyone in Darkwater is suffering from nightmares.
Really?
We don't have any medication left.
Oh, there's no excuse then. I should let you work.
Take care, Ethan.
You too, Marie.
I don't get why they have us waiting so long. Almost no patients here.
Where did my fiancée go? I hope those nutcases will stop burdening her with work.
Okay, so if I cut off the water, that'll cause her issues, and then I can get in. Storage room, what we got here?
Sorry, but nobody can take anything until I finish the inventory. Please, the fewer interruptions there are, the faster I'll be finished.
Okay. Get the surgical room. Can't get in his office because that door will be locked. Acquiring his key. Okay. Oh, there's the kitchen. Didn't go in there. Quick pharmacy.
The doses prescribed by Fuller are far too high.
Prescription for barbiturates signed by Dr. Fuller. Homo delinquente? The pseudo-scientific work by Cesare Lombroso correlates an individual's morphology with his criminal predispositions. The seriousness of this study and the accuracy of the demonstrations can deceive an uninformed reader.
We're running out of this medicine.
I know, Doctor. We sent the purchase order, though, but Mrs. Donovan refused it.
Once again.
Can't you do anything?
Donovan takes her instructions directly from Dr. Fuller. I'm afraid I can do nothing about it for the moment. We've been waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Interesting.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
Okay. Okay. So now we need to get into the boiler room.
The door to the boiler room is locked. Where did I see that key? Ah, yes. The office in Block B.
Yeah. Oh. Something going weird with your dress, lady.
The key to the boiler room. All I have to do is shut off the water and hope Donovan takes the bait.
Excuse me. Excuse me. That's a fancy other knife. Put your back into it, lady.
I can't shut this with my bare hands. I need a tool.
Well, there's a whole bunch of them down here. Or do I need a special? Oh, there's like pipes. That should work. Special tool do I think I need?
She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
What tool am I supposed to need? Obviously it wants me to go find something specific. Janitor's tape? Oh, there's a wrench. Okay, found the monkey wrench. That's what we need. Now we can cut off the water. She-Ra!
I feel guilty about Elizabeth, but I need the diversion.
I'm just reading some books here. Don't you mind me? No. Go back to Elizabeth first. Fine.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
Dr. Colden, might there be a problem with the water?
I was about to mention it. It seems it's been cut off yet again.
I can't take this, Marie. I feel I'm gonna burst.
It's not your fault if we have defective plumbing.
And yet, I'm the one who gets punished because I'm gonna have to square off with that annoying old witch. Courage, Elizabeth. Here we go. And hold your tongue this time.
So that bitch off. Oh.
At last. The missing files must be hidden here. Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle.
God.
I've unlocked something. Patient files. I was right.
This cylinder was hidden inside Fuller's office. He recorded his thoughts about one of the many psychoanalysis sessions he submitted Sarah Hawkins to. Interesting.
Conclusions, session number 17. Patient, Sarah Hawkins. The patient appears to have finally accepted the illusory nature of what she calls the mythos. It goes without saying that these peculiar delusions are the price that comes with her acceptance.
This finger belonged to a woman. Why keep it here? Why does Dr. Fuller write psychological reports about Sarah Hawkins?
At first, I presumed that her blood was the key. But I found nothing to explain Mrs. Hawkins' abilities.
Her ability?
The poor souls downstairs are not Fuller's only subjects.
Then James came, irate that Charles was keeping secrets from him. I presume that he will try to break into the basement sooner or later.
Why is Ethan on medication? Hawkins, Fitzroy, and Fuller. What is the connection between these three?
It is fortunate that I had the presence of mind to set the morgue in the basement. When all the fuss about the Hawkins incident finally comes to an end, I will dispose of her belongings. In the meantime, they must remain hidden in plain sight.
Of course. Sarah Hawkins is the connection.
A partly burned shoe. It seems like it belonged to Sarah Hawkins. So, we've got all the secret things. Everything else is shiny. What are you doing to this poor girl?
I must go back to the basement. I should go another way.
It kind of goes back this way. My evil witch. Like a ninja. Go down into the cycle. Like this.
Ah, now that's the Marie that I know. I knew I could count on your scientific curiosity. It's time to show you what you were so eager to discover.
Oh! Snap! No!
If you're gonna shoot me, at least have the decency to look me in the eyes.
Turn around. Slowly. Talk, filthy thief! Oh, I swear I'll shoot!
It was Charles Hawkins.
Take a minute to look around. Everything points to Charles Hawkins.
He's dead!
No. He was here for a very specific item.
Oh, no.
The book. Why was it in the safe?
Have you read it?
Answer the question.
How foolish of you. Now you won't be able to escape his will. What did it show you?
Marie Colden was there.
She went into Fuller's office. She was looking for Sarah Hawkins' corpse.
Sarah Hawkins, you say? Let's go back to the start, shall we? Whose life did the Necronomicon choose to show you?
Dr. Colden. She was at the Riverside Institute. She's in danger. I have to go.
Wait! No one knows the occult better than me. You might need my help.
Sure.
All right. All right. I might need you after all.
Perfect. Let's meet later at the Hawkins mansion. Now go! Rescue the doctor!
Thank you, Drake.
The book projected Pierce into the body of Dr. Colden. The detective watched helplessly as Bradley's friend carried out her inquiry. Confronted with the experiments of Fuller, she got into his office and discovered that the director of the Riverside Institute was hiding information on, if not the body of, Sarah Hawkins. But she was discovered by Fuller. Pierce must save her before it's too late. But we're going to have to end it there. So until another night, thank you for joining me for Call of Cthulhu. I'm Straith, and good night.